We talked about the primal wounds of the heart, and now in these episodes, we are talking about the cynicism of the mind. In our discipleship journey, we begin to deal with some of these issues that we encounter, and we sometimes are worried and we are concerned why the teenager is asking certain questions. I made this statement in the last episode. It's okay to ask certain questions and find some answers. Now, what are some of the effects of the cynicism of the mind? In our last episode, we talked about how it comes about, but what are some of the effects, of the cynicism of the mind? There are two things that happens. It's an erosion that happens. Erosion of faith and erosion of spiritual fervor. They are not excited about the purpose of God, excited about the things that God wants to do for them, excited about life. Slowly things are becoming, slower and slower, and they begin to drag themselves, and they're not having that spiritual fervor. They're not having that faith anymore. They don't make decisions based on faith, but they start to make decisions based on fear. That's where we begin to see, there's something there. The cynicism of the mind, there is something there that they are beginning to question. Somebody needs to reach out and connect with them, that they begin to answer some of those questions. Now, I know some of your parents are saying, that intellectual to answer some of it. My teenager asks a lot of intellectual questions. There are plenty of platforms. There are plenty of websites where you can direct them to. There are lots of friends who are available that you can connect your teenager with. And there are many times parents would send me a message and said, I would like to have my teenager just talk to you. He's asking all kinds of questions. Is it okay for him to talk to you? And I said, sure. Recently, there was a lovely couple, in one of the Middle Eastern country. And she sent me a message and said, my daughter has been, done some counseling sessions with you. And she didn't want to disturb you with all that is happening in your life and your health and all of that. But she's wanting to get in touch with you. I said, okay. And I said, sure, anytime. Now, when I talk with some of these teenagers who are wanting, sometimes they ask a lot of questions. Do I have answers for all those questions? No, I don't. Now, I cannot answer every one of those questions, but I can always put a godly paradigm in their heart. I can always put a godly perspective on their heart. I can always put a godly precept upon their heart. That's exactly what I need to do. That's exactly what you, parents, teachers, grandparents, caretakers, you need to do. Sometimes we may not be able to answer all those questions, but we can come to that place. And please understand, what's that background screen while doing all of this? Hey, I love you and I care for you. Because constantly teenagers with the cynicism of the mind, young people with the cynicism of the mind are always asking these two questions. Does God care? Does God love? Does God care? Does God love? You can step in and say, hey, I love you and I care for you. Not just simply in words, but we show it. Parents, teachers, caretakers, thank you for being there.